Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are taking a look at yet another Pnso figure. This one has just finally arrived. Took a little while to get here, as per usual when it comes to a Pnso figure, but this is the brand new Pnso Miragaia, and you can actually see that I have the wrong side displayed for us as we have the Chinese side, but if we turn it around, there we can now see the title of the Miragaia and of course the Pnso logo. I will say the figure looks incredibly impressive here on the front of the box. A very interesting take on the Miragaia and an overall beautiful looking paint scheme that they've come up with, kind of like your trademark Pnso browns and stuff that I actually really like. I know I've heard some people state some negative opinions about the kind of consistent brownish color schemes, but I think every single time Pnso has released a figure, whether it has a brown paint scheme or not, it always looks really good, really natural, and overall really complements the figure, I think, and this is yet another one of those, and potentially one of my favorites, I think, as far as the overall appearance goes from Pnso. But as far as the box goes, again, we just have the image of the Miragaia on the front, up here on the top, even though he's currently upside down. We have another image of the Miragaia and the head sculpt right there. On their side, we've got a silhouette there with the length of the species and then some more information and all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and break this out of the box and take a look at it. As always, we have the Pnso booklet, which includes a really nice image of the head sculpt there of the Miragaia. And then once we open it up, which takes me a second for some reason, we've got some beautiful images yet again of the Miragaia here on the inside, and then some information on both the Miragaia and Pnso. Of course, the sculptor of the figure, all of that fun stuff. Really love these booklets because they're very informative and just a nice extra to have included. And if you actually flip it around to the other side, it has the Chinese version with the same images and information. Really cool on the part of Pnso. And then here is our Miragaia itself, and wow, this figure is, I think, even better looking than the prototype, and that is not something that you say very often as far as different companies go. This figure has really exceeded its expectations as far as I'm concerned. The paint scheme, the sculpt, everything is unbelievably gorgeous here in person. I'm really psyched about this one, so let's go ahead and get a closer look at it right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of the Miragaia, look at the beautiful detailing that is included up here on the head sculpt. It looks great, and the paintwork is just top notch. It appears as though they've included kind of like a nice dark brown wash. Here you can really see it in like the underside of the throat and everything, and I feel like that has given this such a realistic look as far as the actual paint application goes, because it now generally has like a realistic looking skin tone to it as far as like different variations of color, something that I must say I am a huge fan of, and I love this kind of pinkish coloration that they've also bordered around the eye. The eye is painted with a nice black coloration, beautifully and very realistically glossed, so that area is all gorgeous if you ask me. You come up to the front of the snout, you can see the mouth is very nicely sculpted, as well as the nostrils sculpted out quite nicely as well. And the actual texturing of the scale detail and everything here on the face is just phenomenal if you ask me. A beautiful head sculpt as far as the Miragaia goes, and lots of realism added to it as far as like the really nice gloss coat on the eyes. Very nice, picture perfect, I will say, paintwork of the eye placement. Nice dark coloration that has highlighted the nostrils. Just a lot of beautiful paintwork has been included, and you can also see that the face is kind of like a light yellow before we transition to this brownish coloration here in the body. So again, even a little bit more extra color variation is added. Leading down into the neck and the throat region, you can see some gorgeous scale detail. I like how the scale detail is actually like larger and thicker here on the underside of the neck, but then transitions to a smaller kind of finer texturing and scaling up here as you get closer to the rows of plates up here on the back. And I think that looks really cool because it's something you don't see very often. Normally you'll see like larger scaling that transitions to a finer scaling the further down you go, but this is actually kind of the opposite, and I think it looks really good on the figure. Beautiful paintwork as we lead down the neck with this mixture of like a darker and lighter brown, like a really dark brown, and then a little bit of a lighter brown, although it's kind of still a darker variation of brown in comparison to the body color, but they kind of mix together to create these really nice and very appealing looking stripes. You can also see some osteoderms and stuff picking up as you move down here into the body. Once you actually reach down into the body, you can see a ton of really nice kind of osteoderms poking up here and there, as well as some really nice color variation. You can just see lots of different tones of lighter and darker browns. And again, I've stated numerous times recently that PNSO continues to amaze me with how impressive their actual figures paint applications have become, and this is yet another perfect example of that. You can pick up on the shoulder blade a little bit, kind of protruding from the skin, but not too much. It's not overly defined. Really nice leg sculpt as you move down here into the front leg. You can kind of see like some skin reacting here in the joint of the leg. Beautiful creasing and wrinkling down here in the wrist area. Beautiful foot sculpt as well. You can see the nails are painted with a whitish coloration. That dark wash has allowed all of the detail to pop quite beautifully throughout the entire leg sculpt of the figure. You can also see the elbow back here. Again, I'm just really blown away by how incredible the paint application is of this figure. This actually might be my new favorite as far as the paint application goes overall. Somehow even potentially defeating their Spinosaurus and Ceratosaurus, which is really impressive to say. You can see a really nice transition as the stomach lightens there, so beautiful smooth transition as far as the color change goes in the stomach region. You can see also those stripes kind of stripe and design all throughout the body, pretty much everywhere on the figure. I also love that it transitions to almost like an orangish brown the higher up into the back you get. You can see the hip bone really nicely elaborated right there. Some beautiful musculature as you move down the rear leg. You can definitely see the skin stretching off of the body in both the front and back legs as far as like the movement being shown within the sculpt goes and the way the body would be reacting to that movement. That also looks very, very nicely done. Again, the texturing as far as the scale detail and the skin texture is really nice looking overall. It's just very vibrant, which is something also that I've been commenting about as far as these PNSO figures go. The scale detail and the overall just texturing to the figures is just so nicely done, so vibrant. It's just very impressive to me continuously. You can see a kneecap present here on the rear leg. That beautiful dark wash continues to bring all the detail out in a very nice realistic fashion. Moving down into the foot sculpt, again you can see the nails are painted with a whitish coloration. That foot sculpt looks really good also. And then coming back up into the tail, you can see some nice creasing right here behind the thigh. As we move out into the tail, the texturing of the tail also looks really good. You have the super large tail spikes out here that are also really nicely painted. And the underside also sports some gorgeous detailing as far as like the texturing to the figure goes, the really nice scale detail. There's also a cloaca present, so we of course have that nice anatomical correctness. You could see some more color variation here on the underside with some variations of browns included with that kind of off-white color that is the primary underside coloration, and you can even see that right here. Also a little bit of like a yellowish brown, so there's lots and lots of color variation included on the figure. And actually, before we even go over here, you can also see the really nice paintwork here of the plates on the back of the Miragaia. I like how it starts out with like an orange and then transitions to a yellow and then transitions to black tips. And it just looks really cool. And as we lead out the length of these, you can see lots of really nice fine detailing within the plates and everything. Beautiful cracks and crevices, making it just have an overall very realistic appearance and a really striking paint scheme. There's no way you can look at this figure and not see anything other than a beautiful striking paint scheme, because it's just so flashy but somehow maintains a realistic look. And then looking at the opposing side, again similar detail here in the neck, that very nice long Miragaia neck. You can see that scale detail looks great, again beautifully popping and making us take note of it due to that nice dark brown wash. And then we have those really nice dark stripes up here on the top. You can also see some more of those osteoderms picking up as we lead down here into the body. You can again see the shoulder blade a little bit, but nothing overly defined. Really beautiful detailing here in the front leg. As you can see, lots of kind of creasing and wrinkling in the skin and just movement shown for the positioning of the leg as the Miragaia is walking along. Beautiful creasing here in the joint of the elbow. Gorgeous foot sculpt, and it also appears as though the feet kind of transition to a little bit of a variation of brown, which is something I didn't comment on the previous side. Just a little bit of a different shade of darker brown. It seems the feet all sort of have that look, which is a very subtle touch as far as the paintwork goes. You can see the elbow over here. You can also see some nice skin detail here in the stomach region as this leg is pushing into the body, wrinkling up that skin quite beautifully. Same deal back here. Lots of really nice creasing going on. Beautiful osteoderms as well all over the body. You can see them completely littering the entire side of our Miragaia. The hip bone is elaborated over here as well. Again, we have some excellent looking musculature here in the rear leg. I like that it's not overly defined. It's just very nice and very realistically defined. I would say pretty much how I would expect to see it if the dinosaur were here in front of me. You also have the kneecap present yet again, kind of like some loose or sort of hanging skin right here in the rear of the leg. I really quite like that as well, as you can kind of see the skin kind of reacting to the bending of the knee. And then you can also see the foot sculpt. Yet again, looks really, really good. And then we move up here into the tail. Again, beautiful texturing to the skin texture of the tail. Gorgeous paintwork. Those really nice stripes continue to look beautiful and vibrant as we move out the length of the tail. And then we, of course, have the really beautiful plates and spikes and everything up here on the back of the Miragaia that are just painted to perfection, allowing a really, really flashy appearance to the figure, but again, in a very nice, natural way. So this Miragaia is definitely one of my new favorite Pnso figures, and definitely one of their best releases in quite some time. As far as a size goes for our Miragaia, for a length, if we go to the tip of those tail spikes there to the head right here to the snout, you are looking at roughly about the 8.5-inch range, or about 21.5 centimeters, somewhere in that range, maybe closing in on 22 centimeters. And then for a height, the highest point would be the spikes here on the back. You are going to see them at about 3.5 inches or 9 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Golovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line, next to our Pnso Miragaia. And you can definitely see that next to these figures, I would say that the Miragaia sports a pretty strong medium size range. It's nothing overly large, but it's definitely not all that small. It's actually probably one of the most sizable Miragaia figures in my collection, and I think that these figures will help to give you a pretty good idea of that aspect. So this brand new Pnso Miragaia is yet another incredible figure in a long line of incredible figures from Pnso. This year has been an absolute treat for collectors, or potentially a giant burden on your wallet, but whatever the way is that you look at this, it has been incredible, the sheer amount of figures that Pnso has released. And it's not like they just released some random figures. They have released continuously incredible figure after incredible figure after incredible figure, and this Miragaia is easily one of those incredible figures, and now my new favorite Miragaia in my collection, and there is no doubt about that. The overall beauty and striking appearance of this figure can't help but overtake and overthrow pretty much any Miragaia in your collection, or at least as far as mine goes, because it is just a gorgeous, gorgeous take on a Miragaia. Pnso really nailed the overall appearance to it, and giving it a little bit more of a creative look than you most often see with Miragaia, and I really like this appearance to the figure, and they took that very unique looking appearance that they've created for it and given it the perfect paint scheme that I think just makes it look so unbelievably striking, as far as like that coloration to the plates and everything up there on the back. It almost has like a sunset type of an appearance, or something along those lines. It's just like really, really beautiful looking as far as the way it's been painted, and all that paint up there on the plates and everything is beautifully and naturally applied. Very nice smooth transitions as it moves along from the orange to the yellow to the black tips. It's all gorgeous looking as far as that paint application goes. And then moving down into the actual body, again, the sculpt and detail is off the charts on the figure. It is so highly detailed, like Pnso continuously delivers. It is just incredible in every way. Every ounce of detail that you would expect to see is perfectly applied to the figure in the sculpt, and gorgeously present for anybody to take note of and enjoy. It is beautiful in the sculpt department, and then all that wonderful sculpt and detail is brought out perfectly with the really nice paint application. Again, lots of various tones of color has been included on the figure. As far as like the browns, you have like yellowish browns, orangish browns, just darker browns, lighter browns. So much incredible paintwork is applied to this figure. It's just unbelievable looking in person. And again, one of the very few times that I get to say that I think the figure here in person looks better than the actual prototype image did. And they've all applied this and brought it all together beautifully with a nice dark wash, a nice dark brown wash, which allows all of the scale detail to pop, but at the same time kind of making the dinosaur look like it kind of has like a dirty appearance like it would in real life. So it's just very lifelike, very realistic overall. And you can see that they've taken great care in the actual paint application as far as things like painting the eyes and just generally like the Very nice smooth transitions between colors. Everything is beautiful as far as the paint application goes and very, very realistically done. So this figure as a whole is unbelievable and definitely one of my favorite PNSO figures ever, and that's really saying something because they have delivered a lot of unbelievable figures on us. So if you would like to pick this up, I will include a link in the description to Dan's Dinosaurs where you can head on over there right now and purchase this Miragaia for yourself. So make sure you check the description, go buy this fantastic PNSO Miragaia, and make sure you also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.